Hi again, Year 8. This is now lesson 3, final lesson of week 4 for you. And we've been looking this week at ¿Qué tal lo pasaste?, which is what sort of time did you have on your holidays. So that's the title, ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? So write that and the date at the top of your page, please. Remember, the date on the screen now is the date that I'm recording the video. So you need to check the date that you're actually doing this lesson. Okay, so as a starter, please, it's a spot the errors exercise. Now, there's a mistake in each of these sentences. This is going to take you about 10 minutes, I should think. It's not a quick starter, this is something that's going to make you think. Finding errors in something is a really good exercise because it's the sort of errors that you make all the time. And if you can spot them, then obviously you won't make them again. Which is why it's always useful to look at other people's work and think, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that, or why did they write that? I know that that's not correct, because you each know different things. So checking your own, making sure that you understand your own mistakes is actually really key. So here I want you to look at the sentences. I want you to write them out in full, please, sort of with corrections, but sort of making sure you know where the changes that you've made. Explain why they're wrong. So don't just say that's wrong and write it out for something different. Think about why is it wrong and explain it, please. It'll take you about 10 minutes, so pause the video now and then move on when you're ready. Okay, so it's now 10 minutes later, I should think, or a bit less maybe. Here are these sentences. Now, the first one, I shouldn't have put all this up in one go because now you're looking at all of the sentences. Please try and focus just on the first sentence. The first one, it had normalmente voy a ir a Francia de vacaciones. Now, voy a ir is clearly wrong here because it's normalmente. So it should be voy. It's the present tense, not the future, when you're saying normalmente. So normally I go, normally I eat, normally I play football on Fridays. So normalmente voy. The second one, it had el año pasado fui a Irlanda. Now it should be el año pasado because año is masculine, so it's got to be pasado with an O on the end. So it should be el año pasado fui a Irlanda. Número 3. Me gusta, voy de vacaciones a España was what you had initially. Now cross out the voy and we've got ir. And that's because you use the infinitive after me gusta. In English, we would say, I like going on a holiday, or I like to go on a holiday. You can't have I like, I go. It has to be an infinitive alongside the conjugated verb. Number 4, the original was, ¿A dónde fuiste la semana que viene? Now, la semana que viene is next week. So you can't have where did you go next week. You need to have where are you going to go? ¿A dónde vas a ir la semana que viene? Now, some of you may have looked at that and thought, well, it shouldn't be la semana que viene. It should be la semana pasada, because it's where did you go? So you can do this in 2 ways. You can either change the verb, as I've done, or you can change the time indicator. And instead of saying next week, you can say last week. Either way, you need to make them match. Y número 6, fuimos a avión, was what was the original. You need to change that to en avión. It's the preposition. We go by plane is en avión. Or we went by plane. It was cool. Fue guay. And the last one, it was just pasé fenomenal en Italia. You need to have lo in there, which is what we did last lesson, or the first lesson this week, rather, looking at that structure, pasarlo, plus an adverb. So it has to be lo pasé fenomenal en Italia. So check and correct your work, red pen please, and then make sure you understand why those changes had to be made. That's part of the battle as well, is knowing why you're doing it, and then next time you will know what to do then. Okay, so moving on. Can you please write a target for yourself based on how you did on spotting those errors? What do you need to revise? How will you do it? Okay, so along with just checking and correcting your work, write the target thinking, I didn't spot that. I didn't know those time indicators. How am I going to revise them? Is it look, cover, write, check? Is it making a mind map? Is it using Quizlet or Memrise? Okay, so have a think about it. How are you going to do that? When you've done that, move on. So here are our objectives for the week. And I'm actually going to change this because this should say sorry, I lost you there, and it's because I want to say it should be 3 tenses because we have been using present, preterite, and near future. Okay, so sorry about the blip there. For the moment, my screen went peculiar. So you should have these as your objectives, writing about holidays in 3 tenses, including opinions. And that's what we've been building up to this week. Okay, so what I'd like you to do for the main task this lesson, there is a song which I'm going to play. Again, I'll have to minimize this so that I can do it. I'm doing it this way because it's easier and it's a better
Página 40.
quality of sound. So just double check. Yeah, okay. So all you need to do here is listen and read. And after that, you're going to find the phrases in the song and write in Spanish and English. So just for a moment though, listen and read along as we go.
9. Ejercicio 6. Escucha y canta.
Mis vacaciones. Fui de vacaciones, la playa es genial. Fui de vacaciones, la playa es genial. ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? Lo pasé fenomenal. ¿A dónde fuiste? Fui a la playa de Gijón. ¿Cómo fuiste? Fui en barco y en avión. ¿Con quién fuiste? Con mi hermana Marisol. Dime qué hiciste. Jugué al fútbol y al voleibol. Fui de vacaciones, la playa es genial. Fui de vacaciones, la playa es genial. ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? Lo pasé fenomenal. Fui de vacaciones.
Okay, so let's get that out of the way. So you can listen to that again if you like. You can sing along. You can write your own song. You can do anything creative you like with that. But you also need to write these or find these phrases in the song, please. So where did you go? How did you travel? What did you do? How was it? The phrase used for tell me. Number 6 is with. Number 7, I went. And number 8, I played. Okay, so pause the video now and produce that. Please write them in Spanish and in English so you've got those phrases committed in your book. When you're ready, move on. Okay, so here we go, check and correct. Where did you go? ¿A dónde fuiste? How did you travel? How did you go? How did you get there? Is ¿cómo fuiste? What did you do? ¿Qué hiciste? How was it? ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? And I'm annoyed myself because I've missed an accent off on that ¿qué? ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? Tell me is dime. It's at the bottom there. Dime. ¿Qué hiciste? Tell me, what did you do? With is con. ¿Con quién fuiste? Con mi hermana. I went is fui, and I played is jugué, as you know. Okay, so this week, folks, you have done quite a lot of work. You've looked at structures to talk about what sort of time you had. We've revised and recapped and reused the activities, where you did what you did, where you went, how you got there, and so on. We've looked at the present tense as well, to say where you normally go. And we've also revised or reminded ourselves of the near future tense, saying what you are going to do or where you are going to go. So for the last activity for this lesson and for this week, please, can you use this link to go to Quizlet? We'll put that up, that will be put up in your Google Classroom as well, so you don't have to copy it from here. But it's a Quizlet all about ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? So go to the Quizlet, spend some time though on each of the study activities first. So flashcards, learn, write, spell and test, before you move on to the play activities, which are match and gravity. If all you do is play, then you don't actually learn the vocabulary. So do the study activities first before moving on to match and gravity, and you can spend the time you have for the rest of this lesson to do that. You can pause the video and move on. If all I'm going to say now is when you've done that, then you'll have finished, but I just want to sum up. Here we go. This should be 3 tenses again, and I don't know if I can change it. Yes, I can. I'm going to change it because it's wrong. It should be 3 tenses. We need to give you credit for what you've done. So writing a dialogue, in fact, about holidays in 3 tenses, including opinions. Okay. So as I say, use the Quizlet to practice here, and thank you very much for all your hard work this week, Year 8.